la la la, la la la, la la la. What is light language? Do we believe everything everyone says about all of our spirituality? Have you ever just did what you wanted to see if it would work? I just laid outside in the grass, and I am aware that the English language is full of curses. Cursive writing is a curse. Spelling is a spell. Hello is hello. And weak is weak. And mourning is sadness. And understand is to be under the stand. Things like that are a curse. And so I was raised in a Pentecostal church where people spoke in tongues. And I remembered hearing my grandfather repeat the same words over and over and over again. And I know he wasn't a holy man because he did a lot of cheating and playing around and lying, and he wasn't a very loving character. I remember him repeating over and over, Hananai, Shananai, Kananai, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, the same words. And so I saw deceit in what he was doing. For me, I was out there laying on the grass, and I started just speaking, like almost like a melody. And it could be, or it could be anything that feels awesome. But I'm imagining, and I'm allowing the sun to show me things, and I'm healing things and enhancing things through any kind of sound that comes out. And I love it. That's what I do. And I love spirituality because we could all do our own thing. We don't have to adopt someone else's power or someone else's way of doing things. You have your own way of doing things, and it's amazing. And I think Spirit wanted to tell me, and you guys who are listening, welcome, welcome. Thank you for saying you love my life. Thank you. I love you guys for being here and believing in divine timing. Don't believe everything you read. So, for instance, I purchased this book on signs, symbols, and sacred geometry. And I'm like, okay, let's see what it has to say. I'm going to tell you something I do not agree with. Do-do-do, do-do-do-do. Okay, they say that the symbol of the Apple iPhone with a bite out of it is just connected to the Garden of Eden, and it doesn't really mean anything. They won't tell you that it's actually a warning against your ethereal net that looks like an apple. An apple with a bite out of it is almost like a hole in the ozone layer. An apple with a bite out of it means you're leaking a lot of personal power. It's not a good symbol. Think of Snow White biting the apple. Did it not kill her or put her to sleep? Isaac Newton was hit in the head with the apple. An apple with a bite out of it is a very bad symbol, but they won't tell you that in this book. They show you the fox with Firefox. They don't tell you that the fox is connected to the sun. There's things in symbology in this book that they admit that they are occult symbols, but they don't tell you the origins of these symbols here. And that's okay. The awakening, it doesn't matter. All that matters is that we follow life energy and just leave all the death energy behind. So there is something they call chaos magic here, and this is magic outside of divine order. And then there's everything that you do. If you're in divine order, you are a magician. If you flush the toilet paper down the toilet, that was saying goodbye to all that no longer serves your body. It's a prayer. If you're in divine order, everything is a prayer. Feeding the animals, cleaning your house, loving your significant other, whomever's meant to be in your life, you love them. This is a prayer, what you feed your holy temple. It's all magic. Black magic or chaos magic is you're out of the eye of God. You're out of divine order. Nothing's working in your favor. And so you're going to manipulate things to cause more chaos by moving things in an insistent way. That's my understanding of it. So this says, chaos magic encourages its followers to draw strength from all forms of magic and use the powers and tools from various cultures to create a Frankenstein monster-like vision of their desires and needs. So it's a false. It's almost like a superimposed reality on top of the real reality. But the thing is once you're in divine order, you don't have to have sigils. You don't have to do magic spells. You are in the eye. You have the ability to create wonderful things just by living, just by feeding your animals, watering your garden, anointing your feet, being thankful, things like that. Those are prayers. Those are blessings, right? So this is the difference between those who have been twice born and are connected to higher places and those who aren't. And that's the difference between a black witch and a white witch, or the difference between ego and spirit, or the oracle, really. So I just wanted you guys to hear that today. I'm going to be giving free readings until 2:30 because I'm going to be reading for someone at 3:00. If you paid for a reading and you did not text me, or if you texted me and I didn't respond, I looked at my unread messages or my junk messages and I didn't see anyone there. But someone said that they had paid me and I didn't respond to them. So I don't know where that's coming from or what, but if you're here, maybe it's your time to get a message. I don't want anyone to be forgotten or anything to be confusing for you either. Oh, thank you. You guys are so sweet. You've been thinking about the subject this morning. Yes, I do have space for another paid today. If you would like to have a reading, you are spiritual Meraki. Yeah, what is your first name? Jamie. Is there anything you want to hear from Spirit today? What are you looking for? What's going on? I see a few parasites, and I don't know if they're spiritual parasites and if I'm actually connecting with you or not, but I just feel like little things. They're not big things, but a little ant bite can really hurt, right? Okay, yeah, that's what I felt. You said spiritual attacks. I feel little ants. It could be physical, like you may have literal parasites, or it could be spiritual. But let's look and see. So what I want you to do is I want you to hold my hand and imagine an emerald ball between my hand and your hand, and this light gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and our heart, we are children. So you're like 5 years old and I'm 5 years old. We don't have ego. There's nothing. We are in 0 point energy. I'm not tethering to you. You're not tethering to me. Our two children, our child self has all the power and is free. So you put a golden ball around you and you protect yourself and everything, but you're wearing clothing that you shouldn't wear, like not literally. This is what I'm seeing. So it's like, okay, that you've got a golden ball around you, but then your holy temple, there's something about your body, um, or what you allow near you. So I don't know why it is I'm seeing you wearing a black cloak. But let's look and see in the reading here. Birds of a feather flock together. That's what I hear. Be careful. Some birds are not nice birds. I wrote a song once. It was called "You Are a Bird of Another Feather. You always bring nasty weather." Um, uh, something I can't remember, but anyway, it was about meeting people who don't have truth and life energy. They have death energy, and they do nothing but bring nasty weather. So maybe you bumped into somebody who's like that. I wish I could remember the words to that song. I don't remember my own words to my own songs. But birds of a feather, they flock together. Let's see here. Prayer. Prayer is action, creativity, vibration, grace. We have to be in the eye of the needle to be under grace. We have to keep our vibration up in order to be in that eye. Our creative power is doing things with our actions as a prayer. That's basically what Spirit is telling you. All right, here we go. It ain't right to love someone as much as I depended on you. It ain't right to show you care when nobody's even there. Oh, you. Oh, it's a heartache. Nothing but a heartache. Love you till your heart breaks. Then they let you down. It's a fool's game. Nothing but a fool's game. Standing in the pouring rain, feeling like a clown. Baphomet, down here, not where you are. I don't really know much about these individuals when we're talking about gods or deities. They are places. And so if we are in the body of Helios or Baphomet or anything like that, we're in hell. We're in the dark. So this represents Baphomet. It's a place. All right. And here you are. And you're wearing a mask. There are parallel realities or planets everywhere. You are leaking power. There's something about a little tiny person here, and it's going out into a tornado. Inside these coins or these planets are parallel realities. Now you have a scarecrow above your head. It is talking to you. So, there's a good part to a scarecrow and a bad part to a scarecrow. I'll explain the scarecrow. Here is your higher self also wearing a mask. And a Pinocchio. It's coming out of your heart chakra. Here's a planet here. And here. And a person here. Looks like one of those Jesuses you see in the Bible that with a terrible cartoon rendition. It's like a Jesus that looks like a Jew with a white over his head, like that kind of Jesus. And I don't know if it means a false Christ. I'm not really sure. Not yet, anyway. You have one hand in the lower realm and one hand in the higher realm. You're bringing the Voldemort to heaven through a couple of things. Certain things that you're telling yourself or you're believing or you're repeating or you are, see how the boomerang, something that's repeating, it comes back over and over again. And what it's doing, these thoughts, is keeping you bound to the number 12 instead of you going up to 13. There's a big giant number 2 here reflecting 12. And so it's lies and death energy. So it's just okay. So look, I don't see. Well, let me ask if you have any spiritual parasites. I do see like these little black things. Um, you have rune like symbols, but they're weird. Like this one actually has an eye in it, and then you have this one. It's like, and then and you have this little beautiful little angel looking at herself in the mirror. And she's so precious. She has these beautiful wings like this, like a big dragonfly, really big. She's looking down into the mirror. I think this is a piece of you on your parallel self. She's cute as a button. And to be looking down into the waters of the magical waters, is to be looking down. So, you're being pushed down by a scarecrow, and then you're blocked by a Pinocchio, and you have a mask on. So there's something that you're believing that isn't necessarily true. The sound of the truth is like a bumblebee. And is like honey, is like manna. And you have to look up. So I'm going to tell you what that boomerang means. If you're into astrology, I'm sure that you'll know this. The corona borealis has many different symbols connected to it. It is known as the labyrinth. So the spiral that Dorothy walked. It's a spell, it's a curse. It's also known as the crown, the corona crown. What they won't tell you about this coronavirus that seems to be going around again lately is that it is connected to a spiritual virus. It is connected to our mind and how we pick up other people's energies now that we've reached the 11th house of Aquarius. Many of us have. I don't believe Aquarius is a collective thing. I think you either ascend there or not. I don't think it's linear. So, the corona borealis is known as the seven sisters and the seven stars, but it's also known as the boomerang. And it's, basically the good part of the corona borealis is it has the blazing star of Solomon, and in a telescope, it is a pink bubble surrounded by an emerald color. This is why Glenda came down in a pink bubble, Emerald City, the crown, the seven colors to the rainbow being the seven sisters, the spiral, and the spell, which is a curse. So something pushed you down, and don't feel any kind of way ashamed about this, because I was pushed down recently as well. And I basically, when we fall back down, luckily we can get back up because we've become masters of frequency, and we've changed many things like our diet. We've changed so much that we don't realize that when we get around certain people, that they are actually entangling our ethereal net with theirs. And we become like them, and we suffer their consequences. This is why it's so important to really believe what Jesus said. If you don't hate your brother, your mother, your sister, even your own life, you cannot make it through the eye of the needle. So we're walking a spell, a spiral, and a curse. Cursive writing is always swirly like this, right? And then we go up through the eye of the needle. And if you're not careful, we go right back down and start over again. We have to become invisible when we come up here. Many people fall right back down because they don't realize that this corona is about your crown. There's 5 crowns that God gives us. And these crowns are about invisibility. To go through the eye of the needle is to become invisible. To become invisible is to not be polarized by low self-worth, self-importance, belief systems that are aimed to keep you down here, or eating habits, smoking, drinking, anything that's designed to distract you, deceive you, and make you fall. So the boomerang is the corona borealis. And the boomerang is a promise that if you do fall, you can go back up. If you hear spirit. Now, it will require you to do many things. Action is a prayer, cutting certain people out of your life. You have a scarecrow and a Pinocchio. These are people who are spiritually dead. Now, the good part of the scarecrow is Odin hung on the tree for 9 days. Hanging on the tree like the Christ or the scarecrow is like the baptism of fire. You're hanging on the tree, and what you're doing is you're dying before you die. And you let go of who you are. And so what Odin did and the allegory of Jesus did and the scarecrow do is you hang on a tree for 9 days. You don't eat anything. You become nothing and no one. You focus on sacred geometry. Behind every pleasure and every pain is a sacred geometrical shape. These two are pain. You have to get through the eye of the needle. This is power. But in order to live in a realm of power, you have to know how to think and who to be friends with. Birds of a feather flock together. So when you're on the cross purposefully to diminish yourself and quiet your mind, erase your mental inventory, erase your belief systems, erase your emotions, think about what it's like to be dead. You have no thoughts, you have no emotion, you have no belief, you're invisible. You're on the cross, and shamans talk about this too. Shamans talk about hanging on a tree. She says, there was no way for me on earth for me to explain what it was like to be in a tree and hanging from a tree. They hung her from a tree. And you have to hang from the tree for 9 days to disappear. So she says, being cooped, a sensation of being cooped up and trapped inside my body. When we enter absolute darkness, where there are no distractions, the double takes over. So what you're being asked to do is get out of the world of lies and allow your double to take over. This is your born again self. And some people go to extreme measures to get in touch with their double. Shamans, Odin, Jesus. You're letting your double take over. It stretches its ethereal limbs. It opens its luminous eye and it begins to look around. You have to go through the eye of the needle. It's becoming invisible. Sometimes experience it can be even more frightening than what you felt last night where she was talking about. And she said, my double won't be that frightening. I'm ready for it. And they said, you aren't ready for anything yet. And then, how dare you run me down every time I say something you don't like? I don't know why I get so irritated with you. It's because you sense something about me that you can't explain. The reason you're so angry, my face was red and I was angry. You are reacting like that because your double is perceiving my double. See, this is what's happening. We're perceiving each other's doubles. Do you know how you're going to react? You're going to feel angry. I don't know why, but this is what it does. Your physical body is frightened because its gates are opening and new perceptions are flowing in. That's what I see in your art. Yep. If you think you feel bad now, imagine how much worse it'll be when all of your gates are open. So your gates are opening. Animals and infants have no problem perceiving the double, and they are often disturbed by it. Animals don't like you because some of your body gates have never been completely closed and your double is struggling to come out. See? So there are shamans who can mark your double with their energy to follow your movements. You do have a scarecrow on you. And so there are people who can pull on your double. You have only a vague dreamlike memory of it. You need help from other people. You have to use energy from other masters. That's what they did with her. Power, the spirit, that boundless force out there decides everything because it's immortal. For us, the proof that you belong to the new era is your total similarity. So divine timing, when you're ready for your double to come out, all of your gates are going to open and it's going to feel very uncomfortable. And when your gates are open, you can't be around certain people. This is why Odin strapped himself to a tree. This is where Isaac Newton found truth up against a tree. This is where Jesus died on a tree. Of course, they made it into whatever story it is now, but the only way to restore you was by leaving you up in the tree, off the ground for whatever time it took you to come to your senses. There was nothing else that could have been done. And that's what Odin did. So we are learning to shift our awareness from your body to your double. This shifting was to have erased all the natural barriers developed throughout your life, barriers that separate the physical body from your double. Because we are crazy, we don't cross harmoniously. The awareness of our double, it's called the Sorcerer's Crossing, and it consists of shifting the awareness of daily life, which the physical body possesses. Listen carefully. The awareness of daily life is what you want to shift from the body to the double. So basically you need to shift your consciousness from this world to your double. Your double is eternal and you want to shift to that eternal body. And so, to draw out the double gently and harmoniously and shift to it, our awareness of daily life is something without parallel. To do that is something inconceivable. And this is the true story of Jesus, not the one you're told. To be born again is to have a double invisible self. To be on the cross is to do something dramatic, to negate or let go of your physical body in order to bounce your consciousness into your double so that your born again self has to be fed and we have to go into a cocoon of leaving this world. And so your double is right here wanting you to go into a tent. You know, shamans, priests, monks, they have pyramids they would go into for this process. Now, some people did use a cross or a tree. But what you're being told is you have a choice. We can live in a world of lies, the false self, the one in a matrix, the false Jesus. Or we could figure out who the real one is. And the real one was someone who knew about being a master of the water, master of the net, how to hang on a tree, die before you die, bounce your consciousness into your double, and your double will appear in front of people as if you're still there. And your double is immortal, and your double lives forever. If we don't do this great crossing from our physical body, which is false, the mask, then we do not get to live forever. It is not a prayer. It is not a baptism. Jesus won't come down and save us. It takes work. It does. And I haven't done it yet. But when I do, I won't look back. But this is a promise of the Corona Borealis that Corona crown, your gates are opening. See, your gates are opening and you're beginning to feel angry. You're beginning to perceive other people's double. 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 False self, double. False self, double. And when this happens, it's something that it can't be verbalized necessarily, but you need to strengthen yourself and not look down into the mystical waters where one eye of Odin went into the illusion, the waters, the spiral, the spell. We need to go through the all-seeing iris, Oz, Iris, Osiris. We need to go through the eye of the needle. The only way to do that appropriately is to surrender, Dorothy, and let go and allow your double to move your consciousness. Otherwise, you're stuck down here. Seems to be a piece of like a record player, and this thing is going around and it's making a sound. And that sound that it's on this is, I can just hear it's like, and it's a frequency affecting us right now. And what the dark ones want to do is use frequency, sound. Yeah, it's a Santa Claus. It's Saturn. Saturn is the Santa Claus. It's a frequency. And the apple with a bite out of it is losing your power, losing your awareness, and losing your connection to your double. Once you lose your double, that's it. There is nothing. You have to bounce back. And don't worry about this world. This world has laws that are not in your favor. This world has frequencies that are not in your favor. This world has distractions that are not in our favor. This world has junk that doesn't matter. This world has ideas that are lies. You own land. No, you don't. You own that house. No, you don't. You own that car. No, you don't. Your life is very short here, and once you're gone, eventually, within 100 years, 200 years, it belongs to somebody else. Nothing matters. It's chasing the wind. What matters is your eternal self, and that's what all of us should be focusing on. Let me see what you have to say. We can't take any of it with us. No, so none of it matters. Think of the movie Labyrinth when she sat in front of the mirror and she was looking at all that junk, and that puppet that wasn't real said, "Oh, well, look at this. How about this?" She says, "It's all junk." And she broke the mirror. Break the mirror. Break the mirror, the illusion. And then suddenly you go through a portal and you may be united with the baby, and that baby is your double. Thank you so much for the gift. I love you, Angel. Angel Gates. Aha, and your name is Gates. Angel Gates. This is your energy today. I'm not sure that this is like tomorrow or even yesterday. This is what your energy is like today. This is what Spirit has to say to you today. Make sure you take a picture of it and use it as a tarot card or a magical square or some kind of communication. But Spirit says that everything turns upside down once you go along with your double, and you will have eternal life. Thank you. You're so welcome. So don't listen to the scarecrow, but yes, do listen to the scarecrow. I'm going to tell you a story. Once upon a time, Spirit said, go hang under your tree. And I have a swing under a tree, and I slept there that night, and I fell asleep, and I heard some deer walking by that woke me up. The minute I looked at the deer, a comet or something, a fireball, went through the sky. 2.5, 3 minutes later, I heard boom, hit the ground. Tried to look it up to see if anyone heard it, anyone knew anything about it. Nothing. Like it was erased. Why did Spirit call me to hang out under that tree that night? Why did Spirit want me to see that? Our physical body is like an embryo that doubles and triples, and we can miscarry or abort our future self by just being trapped in the distraction. So it does take becoming an oracle, and it does take letting go of everything and everyone. Seems like a sad story, but I think it's like the never-ending story. Once you make a wish about the world that you want to go to, Artex that died in the swamp of sadness comes back to life. And the people who died come back to life. There is no death. And you're like, what? And it's not so sad after all. Can I read you next? Let me see. What is your name? Your name is you're like Eris or Iris. I love that name. I think I have time. What is it you want Spirit to know, darling? You're welcome. Is there anything in particular you want to ask Spirit right now? I do have to read for someone at 3 o'clock, so I need to call them about 2:30. Whatever time it is right now. Yeah, so I have a little while. Hello, I love you too, Yaya. Strawberry shortcake, blueberry pie. Strawberry shortcake, blueberry pie. Big hug for you today. Oops, I'm trying to find your comments. Are you on a path of ascension? Okay. You're on a path of wisdom that may lead you to ascension. There's something about unity. I get the feeling that if you make peace with all of your relationships, you've detangled yourself from the ethereal net of others. And then the resurrection, resurrecting as a new person. So resurrection and ascension are pretty much the same thing. So you have Gabriel, Shekinah. These are places, not people, by the way. And wisdom. So you are in a place of wisdom, unity, and resurrection. So let's see what Spirit has to say, because if your ethereal net is stuck to an idea or a person or a place, then your gates may be opening. And my gates are opening, which is why I feel so angry all the time. My friend Stephanie and I sit on the phone just talking about how angry we are. We're like, we're so angry. And it's because our gates are opening. So, all right. I hear a Christian song in my head. Please don't take this song as I'm religious and I believe in worshiping outside of myself and all the what we were taught about Christianity. But this is the song that was sent to you, and it doesn't mean that all of the words are for you. That's all, okay? Go ahead, mark my name, but still to come. You know it's still the same, 'cause I'll rise again. Ain't no power on earth can hold me down. I'll rise again. Life can't keep me on the ground. Excuse me, sorry. Okay. So you have your eyes closed. This is your higher self. Your mind, your spirit is like a mirror. The age of Aquarius is like a mirror. We either mirror ourselves, who we were, what we were told we were, or we mirror this world, which is a lie. If we're mirroring the world, we're mirroring the clown and the upside down world. So the word papa is P is lead and A is gold. So, when we are in lead, we are in the letter P. So to be in the upside down world is, it's this turned into a gun and somebody shooting themselves. So it's suicide to be in the upside down world, because that means that we're not mirroring God. We're mirroring the world. And this cell phone and technology are part of the program to keep many people as a clown, ignorant, a fool in the upside down world. You have a mirror that you're a seer, and the dolphin is very high energy, vibrant, intelligent, things like that. The year 2024, thank you so much, babies. You're my angels. Mwah. The year 2024 is the year of the dragon. So your spirit, you're in the dragon right now. To be in the eye of the dragon, to have the fire of the dragon is think of Avatar. You found your dragon, you fought your dragon. In order to ride your dragon and fly, you have to know how to use your mind. If you think up, you'll go up. If you think down, you go down. If you look at this, that's where you're going to go. If you look at that, that's where you're going to go. So seek first the kingdom of God and all the things associated with it, and all the things that you want will be added unto you. Why it says LAAG. I got a couple of feelings from that. Sacred geometry is something you should focus on. Behind every pleasure and every pain is a sacred geometrical shape. Change the shape, change pleasure and pain. So you're going to be doing a lot of visualizing and using your double. Really, really connecting with your double. So your double is a shapeshifter that went from a lower house, and you do have a gate that's open. You have one gate that's opened. And this may cause anger or some kind of feelings that you're not really sure. It feels very uncomfortable. But when your gate is open, you can't be in front of these jerks. You can't be in front of the spiritually dead. Let the dead bury the dead. If you don't hate your brother, your mother, your sister, even your own life, you can't make it through the eye of the needle. It's like Jesus's disciple said, "Oh, your mother's here." And he was like, "Who's my mother and my father?" My mother and my father are the ones who are ascending. So you're not going to be around people who mirror the upside down world, which is a lie, not truth, a distraction. This physical reality, you went from 11, the sun flips its polarity every 11 years. Here's a pole. This is the 11. You flipped to 22. 22 means you met your double. Your double has been born again. 33 is the triquetra. It means that you're becoming invisible, and you must diminish your focus from the physical to the spirit at this time. Otherwise, you forsake how Jesus died at 33. And then you're going to move to 44. 44 is the number 8, is the 8th flame, and it gets you out of the curse of Cain of 7 generations on 7 continents, 7 seas, 7 days in a week, 7 colors to the rainbow, 7 wounds of Christ, 7 chakras, 7 spirits of God, 7 musical notes, 7 metals, lead, 7 trumpets, 7 seals. And you'll go to the 8th, and it's invisible. And she is the Mary Magdalene. She's a cat and a shapeshifter. So your double is a shapeshifter that can do many things: fly, shapeshift, and can even look like you. Your consciousness needs to fully bounce into that and mirror God, not the world. You are ascending. It's quite apparent. You're ascending. You've left the doghouse and went to the cat house. Many of us have. But the body that you're in is the mind of a God. And the mind of this God is right here. And to be in a new time out of this house is that you're no longer in the same house. You're no longer in Pisces. If Pisces reflected the body of Christ, you've went to Aquarius. Aquarius has rules. The rules go like this. God gives out 5 crowns. Willy Wonka gave out 5 tickets. Jesus said, my Father's house has many mansions. So you're invited to a mansion. You go there. You argue with God. You might get in trouble. You thank you so much for the gift. You guys are so amazing. I love you. If you become spoiled and want to argue, because what we learned down here was the upside down truth. So if we say, oh, that's not true. You can't teleport. You don't know anything about time travel. So says Mad Mike. Or you want self-importance or low self-worth or any of these jerk energies, narcissism, shame, ignorance. We cannot bring it to heaven, 11 heaven. We can't. We have to have the heart of a child, giggly, happy, 0-point energy, neither self-importance, no low self-worth. We need to be thankful, and we need to bounce our consciousness and our energy into our double at this time. You're at 33. You need to go to 44 and light that 8th flame. And then you'll be given the golden ticket, and that golden ticket will give you a glass elevator that will take you to your ascension. It looks like you're in the body. Now it says Laag. I don't know anything about anyone with that name. I do know that there is a god from Egypt named Akhenaten, and he has 2 initials AA. And then LG is on both sides of your head. If that has something to do with technology, I really don't know. But you also have the name HAAR, and I'm going to tell you who that is. All right. So the god Haya from Armenia was changed to Gaia. But they change her name all the time to make her secret. Her name was spelled in Latin this. It's why they, in Norse mythology, know about Valhalla. But everything turns around backwards because the god Ar, which you have in there, was the god of the sun from Armenia. And then they flipped it around to Ra, the god of the sun, not because the god Ra doesn't exist, but because the sun flips its polarity every 11 years and everything becomes backwards. So these names change depending on which world you're in. If you're in the upside down world, it's Ra. If you're in the right side up world, it's Ar. This is where the Ark was found on Mount Ararat from Armenia. And Jesus spoke Aramaic, and there was Mary, and Mithra is the myth of Ra. And this Ar God. Anyway, so his wife is not a person, she's a place. The god Ar is not a person, it's a place. And so the wife is Allah. And it doesn't mean that she's female, it means that it's more androgynous. It's a place that dominates Yah, which is the moon. It's a place that is in between the moon and the sun. So it's like moon, earth, sun. So moon is Yah, Ha, and Ar. So sun, earth, moon. And so you're out of the moon. We were born in the moon. I don't know how it works, but we were born in sin. The god of the moon was named Sin. So we were born in darkness. We ascended to Ha, and we go to Ar eventually. But you're in Allah or Haya or Gaia, and you'll eventually go to Ar, which is why you have Har, Har, and then of course K, Heart the Herald Angels Sing. Yep. Oh, our Father who art in heaven. Our Father, A-R, Father. And the God R was never just called R. He was always called our Father. So dolphins are highly intelligent, and this dolphin jumping out of the water means you've come out of the God Yam. He's the God of floods. Our Bible starts with a flood. He's the God of war. Middle of our Bible is all about war. First Kings, Second Kings, all about war and killing. And then he's also the God of child sacrifice. God sacrificed his own son, but it's not what you think. It is a place of pain to grow us, kind of like the Papa from 11, that grows us in a very painful way. The 7 wounds that we're born with are the 7 wounds of Christ. And the purpose of the dark ones, like the Wicked Witch, is to push us to Emerald City, push us through pain to live forever. So the story of Jesus is really kind of a metaphor of being painfully on a cross in order to live forever. Odin hung painfully on a tree for 9 days in order to bounce his consciousness into his double and live forever. So Achilles' mother put him in boiling water to make him live forever. The story is repetitive. We go through pain to get to eternal life, immortality. And so the God Yam is the God of child sacrifice. But if there's no such thing as death, the death or the pain leads to eternal life, basically. And yes, it is Akhenaten, by the way. It is AA. And that is Akhenaten. I can tell by his lips. His chin goes down like this. He's that. Thank you, darling. And that's a snake coming out of his third eye. Why you're so connected to Akhenaten? It's probably your original home, Egypt. And how you got here, I'm assuming you fell and you ascended, and you're double in you, and you're going through the Triketra, and you may have been a hybrid. I just see like a fetus up here, like a baby. I don't know. But you're going through an ascension and you're being beckoned. Seek first the kingdom of God, spirit realm, sacred geometry, envisioning, meditation. Feed your holy temple to make it strong, and become a warrior so that your consciousness, you can bounce your consciousness from your physical body to your double. Now that you know you've been born again and your double is big enough, it may be time. You may be 33, spiritually speaking, and you're ready to get on that cross, die before you die, and become immortal, bouncing your consciousness to that double self instead of this self. It happens like a thief in the night, they say. I haven't done it yet. If you guys see me not come on the live anymore, maybe it'll be my double. I'll be my immortal self, and you won't even know. That'll be amazing, right? Mm-hmm. Yes, you can watch on YouTube on Mary Moses Art. Yes. Thank you so much. I love you. You're so beautiful. You're kind of like Sekhmet. You're a destroyer and a creator. You'll learn about the dark and light energies and how to protect yourself. The dragon is burning away all that is false within you right now. And then I don't know why you have the 6-pointed star above your head. And I don't know why you have some other things, but technology, be careful. You need negative ions for your heart chakra and your Taurus field to connect with your double. So the 5G towers and all this is a direct assault on your double. So put your cell phone in a microwave or put it in a protected thing where you are not being affected by positive ions. Negative ions, yes, ma'am. You are a negative ion emitter. You have salty tears and sweaty salt, and you have And you have heat. Heat and salt makes negative ions. But if you eat too much sugar or drink too much Coke, you could pray all day that you want to ascend. Your actions are a prayer. And if you say with your mouth, I want to be powerful, I want to be an oracle, I want to, your actions could make you contradict those prayers, and it would be really bad. Your actions have to go along with your words. I don't know why Akhenaten keeps coming back every once in a while to talk to us. I always thought Akhenaten was supposed to be like one God, under one God, where Moses, they went from many gods to one God. But what I understand about gods is they are places, not people. So if you're in the body of Christ, you're in the age of Pisces. Yah means moon, Shua means sun. You go from the moon to the sun. So I don't know why Akhenaten is here and why Akhenaten is part of the whole thing. Maybe we need to do a reading on him one day to say, hey, who are you? What are you doing? Like, what's going on here? But you could tell by the symbols on the body and the face and the fingers. You've got the 4 fingers on his eye, is simply saying you need to see through the eye of God, not through your physical eyes. And don't block the eyes of God. Well, I need to go call let me see what time it is. Yeah. I need to go call my 3:00, so I can talk to them and connect with their energy and make them feel very special. Thank you so much. I love you, darling. I give free readings during the day all the time. I also have paid readings because you guys beg me, and I feel bad. So, you can pay for a reading, or you can wait for me to give you a free one. Everything is in divine timing. So if you have a bunch of money, you have extra, yay. If spirit leads me to give you a reading, you have no money, I'll read for you, but I only do it in divine timing. So if you pay for a reading and spirit says no, I'll refund you nicely. Just say it's not your time yet. So it's not about money. It's just about divine timing. All right. So we'll see you guys here in a few minutes. I love you. We'll see you soon.